That morning, I froze when I saw what was on the screen. My hands were shaking so badly I couldn't hold my coffee cup. I spilled it all over the coffee table. Because what I saw on that tablet screen erased the last 12 years of my 47-year-old life. Cayman Islands bank transfer, $287 to $450. Completed. Yes, what I saw was all my money being transferred to someone else. My name is Victoria Brennan. I'm 53 years old. I live in Dallas, Texas, in the Silver Lake suburbs, on those peaceful streets lined with white picket fence houses. I've been married for 24 years. I have 2 grown children, both college graduates living their own lives. 12 years ago, I worked as an assistant principal at a school. When retirement age came, I left confidently, because I had a number I trusted in my retirement fund, $287,450, until today. My husband Bradley is a financial advisor. He's worked at an investment firm in Austin for 20 years. He's a reliable man, at least that's what everyone thinks. The neighbors love him. He sits in the front row at church gatherings. He smiles while drinking beer, chats while grilling BBQ. But something had changed over the last 3 months. He'd started staying up late at night, hunched over his laptop. Client files, he'd say. The market's volatile. Everyone's stressed. I'd just nod silently. What could I do? That's how marriages are, I'd think. Time softens everything. Conversations fade. Hugs become rare. It's normal, right? But that morning, April 14th, a Tuesday morning, while making breakfast, I found the tablet on the kitchen counter. His tablet? It was open. The screen was lit, and I accidentally saw that email. Transfer confirmation, Mrs. V. Brennan retirement account. My finger touched the screen. Once, twice. The page refreshed. The email opened. Every word pierced like a knife. Dear Mr. Brennan, your transfer request of $287,450 from Mrs. Victoria Brennan's retirement fund to Cayman Islands. Investment holdings has been completed as of April 10th, 2025, Cayman Islands. My world went dark. I gripped the kitchen counter. I couldn't breathe. Then I slowly sat down. The coffee in my cup spilled onto the table, but I didn't even care. 24 years. 2 children. A mortgage. 3 cats. Thousands of dinners, thousands of goodnight kisses. And this man had stolen my retirement fund. A woman's heart doesn't break easily, but that morning, mine broke. The discovery. The next 2 hours passed in a blur. I closed the tablet, put it back where it was. When Bradley came in, breakfast was ready. Eggs, bacon, toast. Just like always. He ate, laughed, told me about something. I didn't hear any of it. I just smiled, nodded. Victoria, you're quiet today. I'm tired, I said. My voice came out calm. Surprisingly calm. Get some rest, he said. He kissed my forehead. I'll be home early tonight. The door closed. The car pulled out of the garage, and I was still sitting there. My hands weren't shaking anymore. There was just a coldness, an icy, sharp coldness. That day, I opened the computer. I knew his passwords. I knew them all. Because we were a trusting couple. He could read my emails. I could read his. I could use his credit card. He could use mine. No secrets in marriage, Bradley would say. How right he was. First, I logged into the bank accounts. Our joint account was at Dallas Community Bank, $7,000 in it. Less than normal, but okay. Then I opened his personal account, Wells Fargo business account. Empty, 0. Then I logged into my retirement account. Empty, completely empty. On April 10th, 2025, the money had been withdrawn with a note. Authorized transfer, Bradley J. Brennan. I had no tears. I just stared at the screen. My heart was beating, but I couldn't hear it. I could only hear that silence inside me. That terrible, cold silence. Then a thought came. Slowly, like seeping poison, a woman sometimes feels everything. She just waits for proof. And I had found the proof. The investigation I spent the rest of that day researching. I couldn't find the Cayman Islands account. It was encrypted, protected. But I found other things. A lot of things. Credit card charges, an apartment rental in Dallas. It had been paid for 6 months, $3,500 a month. 20 minutes from our house, online purchases, Victoria's Secret. Tiffany & Co. Sephora, all within the last 4 months, totaling $12,000. He hadn't bought any of it for me. Phone records, one number, calling repeatedly. Not saved. But the calls were long. Midnight, midday, weekends. When a woman examines her husband's phone, she feels two things. Either she reaches the point of madness, or she turns into an ice sculpture. I became the latter. I found the apartment address, marked it on Google Maps. Then I picked up my phone and hired a private investigator. Her name was Linda Harper, a former police officer, famous in Dallas. I told her what I wanted. I want photographs. I want evidence. I want everything. How long will it take? Linda said. 2 weeks is enough, I said. That evening when Bradley came home, everything was normal again. Dinner was ready. The TV was on. I smiled, he smiled. We kissed. We went to bed, but I didn't sleep that night. I just made plans. The truth revealed. Linda Harper called me on the third day. "Victoria, we need to meet," she said. There was that professional distance in her voice, but underneath it, pity seeped through. "Starbucks okay? The one on Pinecrest Avenue?" "I'll be there in half an hour," I said. I ordered coffee. Grande latte, no sugar. Linda was sitting at the corner table with a brown envelope in front of her. When she looked at me, I saw that look in her eyes. That "I'm sorry, but here's the truth" look. For years, I'd worn the same look when giving bad news to parents at school. "Victoria," she said, sliding the envelope over. "You might not want to see this." "I want to see it," I said. My hand wasn't shaking. Inside, I was burning, but my hand was solid as rock. I opened the envelope. First photo, Bradley in front of the apartment. He was opening the door, holding a bouquet of flowers. Pink roses, my favorite flower. But he hadn't bought them for me. Second photo, a woman, young, maybe 30 years old. Long blonde hair, slim, beautiful. I recognized her from Bradley's office, Amber Richardson, his assistant. "Very hard-working girl," Bradley had said once. "She brings a lot to the firm." Third photo, the two of them together. Restaurant, the Capitol Grill, one of Dallas's most expensive steakhouses. Bradley was touching her hand. They were laughing. Fourth photo, they were kissing. At the apartment door, in daylight, they hadn't even felt the need to hide. Linda spoke. "He's been renting this place for 6 months. The records are in his name, but Bradley makes the payments. The girl works at the firm, 28 years old, single. She posts luxury lifestyle stuff on social media. Always new places, always new clothes. But her official salary is $45,000 a year. You do the math, I did the math. It was very simple. He was funding this woman with my money. There's one more thing," Linda said. She pulled out her phone, turned the screen toward me. There was an email chain. Between Bradley and Amber. Subject, plan update. I read it. Every word was a drop of poison. "Amber, my love, everything's going according to plan. I transferred Victoria's retirement account to Cayman. Nobody will notice. She doesn't understand anything. I'll file for divorce in 6 months. We'll finish the mortgage and sell the house, split the money in half, but you and I will go to Cayman together and start a new life. Just be patient a little longer, my love. Soon we'll be free." My eyes blurred, but I didn't cry. I sipped my coffee. It was cold. It left a bitter taste in my mouth. Linda was waiting for what I'd say, waiting for me to scream, cry, break the plate. "Thank you, Linda," I said. My voice was flat. "Send me your bill. Victoria, are you okay?" "I'm fine," I said. I even smiled. "I'm very fine now, because now I knew everything. And knowledge is power." That night when I got home, Bradley was watching TV, NBA game. His feet were up on the coffee table, beer in hand. He smiled when he saw me. "Hey, honey, where were you?" "Shopping," I said. "Stopped by Target. Did you get anything?" "No," I said. "Just browsed." How easy lying had become. Maybe I'd learned it from him. The next 3 days I spent researching. Quietly, systematically. When Bradley went to work, I sat at the computer. I examined every file, every email, every account statement. What I found: secret credit card, American Express Platinum. In Bradley's name, but statements went to his office address, not home. $50,000 spent in the last 6 months. Hotel reservations, plane tickets, jewelry purchases, all for Amber. Offshore accounts. My money wasn't the only thing that had gone to the Cayman Islands. Bradley had been transferring money from his own salary over the last 2 years, too. $400,000 total. Tax evasion, maybe. Or maybe just an escape plan. Fake documents. I found a folder on his computer named Backup Files. Inside were divorce papers. Not signed yet, but prepared. Lawyer's name, Martin Schroeder, one of Dallas's most aggressive divorce attorneys. There were notes in the margins. Victoria's retirement fund already withdrawn. When house sells, half goes to me. Estimated total gain, $520,000. He wasn't just cheating on me. He was planning to rob me. That night as I lay in bed, Bradley was snoring next to me. His arm rested over me, that old familiar weight. It used to feel comforting. Now it was just heavy. I slowly lifted his arm and moved it aside. I got up, went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror. The 53-year-old woman was there. Tired eyes, deep lines, gray hairs starting to show. But this woman wasn't weak. This woman wasn't dead. This woman was making plans. The lawyer. The next morning, I called my lawyer. Her name was Rebecca Lawson, a family law specialist in Dallas, tough and smart. I'd known her for years. We'd run into each other at church gatherings. "Rebecca, I need to talk to you." "Of course, Victoria. When?" "Today, as early as possible." There was something in my voice. Rebecca understood. "I'm at my office at 2. Come by." Her office was in downtown Dallas, in a tall glass building, 10th floor. When I entered, she greeted me, shook my hand, had me sit. On her desk was a full folder. All the documents Linda Harper had sent. All the photos, all the evidence. Rebecca flipped through the pages. Read silently. Then she took off her glasses, looked at me. "Victoria, this is very serious." "I know," I said. "Bradley didn't just cheat on you. He stole your retirement fund. This could be a federal crime. There's also evidence of tax evasion. We could even bring the IRS into this." My heart raced. But my voice was calm. "What can we do?" Rebecca smiled. A cold, sharp smile. "We can do everything. But first we need a plan. And this plan needs to be quiet. Bradley can't suspect anything. When he realizes, it should be too late." "That's exactly what I want," I said. The next 2 weeks were spent planning. Rebecca calculated every detail. We'd file for divorce, but first we'd attach all the evidence to the court file. We'd make an anonymous report to the IRS about the offshore accounts. We'd leak information about secret accounts to Bradley's firm. We'd freeze all assets in the house. Legally, we'd get a restraining order. Bradley wouldn't be able to enter the house. "Everything will collapse at once," Rebecca said. "But are you sure you want to do this? Bradley won't just lose his wife. He'll lose his job, his freedom, his reputation." I looked into her eyes. "I'm sure," I said. "When I closed that file, it wasn't my heart that gave out. It was my patience." I wasn't crying anymore. I was planning. The strike? I was sitting in Rebecca Lawson's office. In front of me were documents waiting to be signed. Divorce petition, property division claim, restraining order application, IRS report form. Each one was like a weapon, and I was about to pull the trigger. "Victoria," Rebecca said, "the moment we submit these documents to the court, there's no going back. Bradley's life will be turned upside down. Are you sure?" I picked up the pen. I signed. Every page one by one. "I'm sure," I said. Because when he turned my life upside down, he didn't pause to think for even a second. That day was May 8th, 2025, a Thursday. We submitted the court papers. The same day we sent an anonymous report to the IRS, offshore accounts, tax evasion, illegal transfers. Rebecca had planned everything. The evidence was airtight. Photos, bank records, emails, credit card statements. Everything was in the file. "Now we wait," Rebecca said. "Bradley will be served tomorrow morning at his workplace, along with the court order. The restraining order will be in effect. He won't be able to enter the house. Bank accounts will be frozen. When he comes home, the locks will be changed." "How long will it take?" I asked. "Within 2 days, everything will blow up. The firm will find out, the IRS will take action, the court process will begin. There'll be nothing Bradley can do." When I got home, Bradley hadn't arrived yet. I walked slowly through the house. Every room was filled with a memory. The children had grown up in the living room. I'd cooked thousands of dinners in the kitchen. We'd slept for 24 years in the bedroom. But now this house felt foreign to me, because every corner hid a lie. Bradley came home at 7. He looked tired when he walked through the door. His tie was loose, his hair messy. "Hey," he said. "It was a long day." "I understand," I said. I smiled. It was the last time I'd smile at him. "Dinner's ready." I made chicken sauté. We sat at the table. We ate. We talked. He talked about the weather, the neighbors, the game he'd watched on TV. I listened, nodded, as if everything was normal. As if tomorrow his life wouldn't turn into hell. That night we went to bed. Bradley fell asleep immediately. I didn't sleep. I just stared at the ceiling and thought, you know when a woman becomes powerful? When she's no longer afraid. I was no longer afraid. The next morning, Bradley got up early. Showered, put on a suit, had breakfast. Just like always. I prepared his coffee, gave him his lunchbox, just like always. Have a good day, he said, kissing my forehead. Have a good day, I said. The door closed. The car pulled out of the garage. And I looked at the clock. 8:47. Rebecca had said service would be at 9. At Bradley's office, in front of all the employees. At 9:15 my phone rang. A number I didn't recognize. I didn't answer. Then a message came. Victoria, what is this? What is the court saying? Call me immediately. It was Bradley. He was panicking. I deleted the message. At 9:47 there was a knock at the door. When I opened it, 2 sheriff's deputies were standing there. Mrs. Brennan? Yes. Per court order, we're serving a restraining order. Mr. Bradley Brennan will not be able to enter this house, approach you, or communicate with you. Can you sign this document? I signed. Are there any items belonging to Mr. Brennan in the house? There are, I said. In the bedroom. You can collect them. It took 2 hours. They packed Bradley's clothes, shoes, personal items, fit them into 3 large suitcases. As the sheriffs were leaving, they said, Mrs. Brennan, if Mr. Brennan tries to come here, call 911 immediately. If he violates the court order, he'll be arrested. Understood, I said. Thank you, I closed the door. Silence fell over the house. I was alone for the first time, and a strange thing happened. I wasn't afraid. I felt relieved. That afternoon my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Bradley was calling. I didn't answer. Then messages started coming. Victoria, please answer. This is a misunderstanding. I'm going to court. I'll fix everything. Amber was a mistake. We need to talk. I'll return your money. I swear, I didn't respond to any of them. Silence was the most powerful weapon. That evening, Rebecca called. Victoria, there are major developments. Bradley's firm found out about the situation. The board held an emergency meeting. They've removed Bradley from his position. Suspicion of ethics violations, misuse of client funds. His files are being reviewed. The IRS has also taken action. They've frozen the offshore accounts. Bradley has no access anymore. What happened to Amber? I asked. She was also fired. The firm wants to distance itself from the scandal. Both of them are unemployed now. I smiled for the first time. Really smiled. The next day, Saturday, I got a call from the neighbors. Peggy Sullivan, who lived across the street, a woman we'd known for 40 years. Victoria, I heard everything. I'm so sorry. What Bradley did is terrible. Thank you, Peggy. If you need anything, we're here. The church community is with you, too. We never knew Bradley like this. Nobody did, I said. Not even me. That weekend, the neighborhood quietly took my side. They removed Bradley from church gatherings, deleted him from the neighborhood watch group. Nobody talked to him anymore. Suddenly, he'd become invisible. Monday morning was the court hearing. Rebecca came with me. It was at Dallas County Courthouse, 3rd floor, Judge Martha Henley's courtroom. Bradley was there. His lawyer, Martin Schroeder, was with him, a man in his 50s, in a suit, self-assured. But there was worry in his eyes. Bradley looked at me. It was the first time we were face to face. There was pleading in his eyes. He opened his mouth, wanted to say something, but the judge entered. Be seated, said Martha Henley. She was a tough woman, a judge for 40 years, with an impassive face. The hearing began. Rebecca presented the evidence. Every document, every photo, every bank record. Bradley's lawyer tried to object, but the judge wouldn't listen. Mr. Schroeder, the judge said, your client transferred his wife's retirement fund without permission. This is fraud. He also evaded taxes to offshore accounts. This is a federal crime. Do you have a defense? Martin Schroeder hesitated. Your Honor, my client, this is a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? The judge held up the file. How does $287,000 become a misunderstanding? Please take this court seriously. Bradley stood up. Your Honor, Sit down, Mr. Brennan. The judge silenced him with a cold look. The hearing lasted an hour. Finally, The judge gave her ruling. I rule in favor of Victoria Brennan. The divorce petition is granted. Bradley Brennan will pay Mrs. Brennan a total of $450,000 in damages. The stolen retirement fund plus punitive damages. In addition, the house goes to Mrs. Brennan. Mr. Brennan has no rights to it. The restraining order is made permanent. Furthermore, this case will be referred to the IRS and the Dallas District Attorney's Office. Criminal prosecution may be initiated. The gavel struck. The hearing was over. Bradley collapsed. He just sat there in his chair. His head dropped. His hands were shaking. His lawyer whispered something, but Bradley wasn't listening. He was just sitting. I stood up, looked at Rebecca. She was smiling too. "You won, Victoria," she said. "You won everything." At the courtroom exit, I passed by Bradley. He looked at me. His eyes were filled with tears. He opened his mouth. "Victoria." I stopped, turned, looked at him. That long look, the last look of a 24-year marriage. "A woman sometimes forgives everything," I said. My voice was calm, cold, definite. "But some things are unforgivable. You chose this, Bradley. I just showed you the consequences." I turned and walked. I didn't look back. Freedom. When I walked out of the courthouse, the sun hit my face. The Dallas sky was bright blue. As I walked to my car, Rebecca was beside me. "Victoria, the IRS process could take a year, but Bradley will most likely get prison time. Tax evasion is a serious crime. There's also an investigation started regarding Amber, suspicion of misusing client funds." "What happens now?" I asked. "Now you're free," Rebecca said. "You got your house back, you got your money back, and you'll get your peace back." I got in my car, started the engine, and at that moment, when our eyes met, he finally understood who had won. On the drive home, I turned on the radio. A song was playing, an old song, a song I'd loved years ago. I opened the window. The wind tossed my hair, and for the first time I laughed, really laughed. That night I was alone at home. There was silence. But this silence wasn't scary anymore. It was peaceful. I sat on the couch, poured myself a glass of wine, and thought, justice isn't always won in courtrooms. Sometimes it's won in a woman's patience, her silence, her strategy. And that morning when the courthouse doors opened, nothing would ever be the same again. 3 months later, 3 months passed. Summer came to Dallas. The sun spread over the Silver Lake suburbs like a warm blanket. The white picket fences in my yard were freshly painted. I mowed the lawn myself, for the first time. Bradley always used to do it, but Bradley wasn't there anymore, and it was strange. Without him, the house seemed bigger, quieter, but more peaceful. That morning, I was drinking my coffee on the back porch. As the sun filtered through the curtain, I felt calm for the first time. My phone rang. It was Rebecca. "Victoria, there's news." "Good news?" "Very good news. The IRS investigation is complete. Bradley was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Tax evasion, fraud, falsifying documents. Amber got 2 years. Neither could appeal. Their sentences are final." I sipped my coffee. It wasn't bitter anymore, just warm. "There's one more thing," Rebecca said. "All the money in Bradley's Cayman accounts has been recovered. After IRS deductions, $310,000 will be transferred to you. It'll be in your account this week." "Thank you, Rebecca," I said, "for everything." "I thank you, Victoria. It was an honor working with such a strong woman." I hung up, finished my coffee, and just sat there. Birds were chirping. The neighbor's dog was barking. Life was going on. That afternoon, my daughter Sarah called. She was 30, lived in Seattle, a graphic designer. When she heard what happened, she'd wanted to come right away, but I'd stopped her. "Mom, how are you?" There was worry in her voice. "I'm fine, sweetheart," I said. "Really fine. Did you hear about Dad?" "I did. 3 years." "I'm sorry, Mom. I know he was still my father and—" "Sarah," I said quietly, "don't be sorry. Sometimes people pay the price for what they do. This is justice, and I've always been on the side of justice." "I love you, Mom. You're so strong." "I love you too, honey." After I hung up, I pulled out the photo album. Old photos, wedding photos, children's birthdays, family vacations. Bradley was in all of them, smiling. I was smiling too. The people in those photos looked happy, but sometimes happiness freezes in a photograph. In real life, it melts away. I closed the album, put it back on the bookshelf. Maybe one day my children would want to see it, but I didn't want to look anymore. The past should stay in the past. New beginnings. That evening I went to church. Silver Lake Community Church, the church I'd been going to for 20 years. Pastor Wilson met me at the door. "Victoria, it's so good to see you," he said. "How are you?" "I'm fine, Pastor. Thank you. The congregation loves you so much. Everyone's on your side. You know that, right?" "I know," I said. "And that means a lot." I went inside. There was a women's group meeting. We gathered every Thursday evening. Peggy Sullivan, Linda Martinez, Ruth Callahan, 15 women in all. When they saw me, they applauded. "Victoria, welcome. We missed you." I sat down. Coffee was served, cookies were brought out. Peggy sat next to me. "Victoria, we all heard your story, and I want to say, you're a hero." "I'm not a hero," I said. "I just defended my rights." "No," Ruth said. "You didn't just defend your own rights. You gave us strength too. Do you know how many women suffer in silence? How many women are afraid? You showed them a woman can stand up. A woman can win." My eyes welled up. I was crying for the first time, but these were tears of happiness. That night when I got home, I sat in the living room. The TV was off. There was just silence. But I was starting to love this silence, I thought. About the past, the present, the future. Bradley was in prison. Amber too. Both had lost their freedom, lost their money, lost their reputations, but I had won everything back: my house, my money, my peace, and most importantly, my self-respect. The next week I made a decision. After depositing my retirement fund into my bank account, I donated part of it to Dallas Women's Shelter, a shelter for women who'd been abused, cheated on, victimized. I donated $50,000. It was Rebecca's suggestion. "Victoria," she'd said, "you got your money back, but you can use it to help other women too." She was right. Justice wasn't just for me. It should be for others too. The shelter director, Sharon Bennett, called me. "Mrs. Brennan, this donation is incredible. You know, we have dozens of women staying here. Women abandoned by their husbands, beaten, deceived. Your story will give them hope." "I want to give hope," I said, because I'd lost mine too. But then I found it. "Would you like to come speak with the women?" I paused, thought, then answered, "Yes, I'll come." 2 weeks later, I went to the shelter. It was a small building in one of Dallas's edge neighborhoods. Inside were 20 women, young ones, old ones, different races, different stories, but they all shared the same thing: pain. Sharon took me to the hall. The women were sitting. Some looked at me, some looked at the floor. "Hello," I said. "My name is Victoria, and I was also cheated on, defrauded, abandoned, just like you." There was silence. Then one woman asked, "How did you escape?" "I planned quietly," I said. "I stayed strong, and I took justice into my own hands, legally, the right way. I didn't yell, cry, or beg. I just took action. Weren't you scared?" Another woman asked. "I was scared," I said. "Very scared. But then I realized fear is only inside me, not outside. And I can control what's inside." We talked for an hour. I listened to their stories, gave advice, gave them Rebecca's number. "If you need legal help, this woman will help you," I said. As I was leaving the shelter, a young woman came after me. She was about 25, with bruises around her eyes. "Mrs. Brennan," she said. "Thank you. You gave me hope." "Hope is always inside you, sweetheart," I said. "Sometimes we just need to see it." On the drive home, I turned on the radio. There was news. Bradley's case had been on TV. Local news had covered it. With the headline, "Dallas Financial Advisor Defrauds Wife, 3 years prison." I didn't listen to the news. Turned off the radio. His story didn't interest me anymore, because I was writing my own story. The holiday season, September came. Fall came to Dallas. Leaves turned yellow. The air cooled. My son Daniel came to visit from Boston. He was 32, an engineer. He didn't look anything like Bradley. He was kinder, more honest. "Mom," he said, "I'm sorry for what Dad did." "Don't apologize," I said. "You're not responsible for your father's sins." "But I'm ashamed." "Don't be ashamed," I said. I held his hand. "You're a good man, Daniel. Your father's mistakes don't change your worth." We had dinner together. In the kitchen where Bradley used to sit, he sat. But it wasn't strange, because Daniel was someone else, someone better. That night I lay in bed. I was alone, but not lonely, because there was peace inside me. a peace I hadn't felt in years. I closed my eyes, and I dreamed. In my dream, I was walking on a road, a long white road. The sun was shining, and I was smiling. There was nothing behind me, just a road ahead, and I was walking. 6 months later, winter came. Christmas was approaching. I decorated my house for the first time in years. Tree, lights, wreath, everything. Sarah and Daniel came. My grandchildren came too. Little Emma, 5 years old, cheerful and innocent. There was laughter in the house, fun, life. Christmas evening, we prepared the table. Turkey, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce. American classic. We all sat together. We prayed. Thank God, I said, for our family, for our health, and for new beginnings. Amen, they said. Emma looked at me. Grandma, are you happy? I smiled. Stroked her hair. Yes, sweetheart, I said. I'm very happy. And I really was. Because that day, I didn't just hear justice, I felt it. The final piece, that night after everyone had gone to sleep, I went out on the porch. It was snowing, rare in Dallas. It covered everything like a white blanket. I held a warm cup of tea in my hands. I breathed, a deep, comfortable breath. I thought about Bradley. He was in prison. Maybe he regretted it. Maybe he didn't, but I didn't care anymore. I thought about Amber. She was in prison too. She was a young woman. She'd ruined her life, but she'd also made her own choices. I thought about myself. 53-year-old Victoria Brennan, a woman who'd been betrayed, cheated on, defrauded, but no longer a victim. Now strong, the snow kept falling, quietly, gracefully, just like my revenge. Because real revenge isn't about screaming. Real revenge is about planning. Real revenge is about waiting patiently. Real revenge is about taking justice into your own hands. The right way, smartly, with grace. And finally, real revenge is being able to walk in peace. Under the snow, the Silver Lake suburbs were sleeping. My house was warm, my family was inside, and I was free. I went inside, closed the door, and smiled. Because you know when a woman wins? Not when she has nothing left to lose, when she realizes she has everything to gain. Closing. True justice isn't revenge. It's being able to walk in peace, quietly, powerfully, gracefully. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss similar justice stories. Because every woman has a story, and sometimes those stories need to be heard. For the voice of justice to rise louder, I need your support. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because silent justice is the most powerful kind.